What's up, people of YouTube? This is Trillet here, bringing you guys another video to my channel, and today it's another top 10. And this time it is an actual top 10 because I've been kind of straying away from doing straight up top 10s. I did some top 5s and stuff like that, but this time, sure enough, it is an actual top 10, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. The other thing that I want to say real quick before we dive into this is I am sorry that there's Infinite Warfare gameplay in the background. I know that like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I made a video saying that I was going to just completely drop Infinite Warfare, and for the most part, I did. And then I played Infinite Warfare, I talked about it a little bit in my vlog, and I just absolutely loved it. I did really good, I was enjoying it, and so I decided, you know what, hell, I'm going to bring back Infinite Warfare, I'm going to play it, and I'm going to just put it on my channel, at least for commentaries and stuff like that. So it's nothing big. I'm not going to do like series as of right now that have to do with Infinite Warfare, but I might cover like news and stuff like that. This is just going to be kind of a background thing at the moment, and that's pretty much where it's going to stay at. So this is my top 10 most wanted weapon variants in Infinite Warfare. As you guys know, a lot of the time I make videos, or top 10s in general specifically, I mean, that are pretty much my preference. They're only what I want. They're just how I see things. They're not community driven most of the time. I think I've only done one that's really community driven. It was kind of a fiasco. It didn't work out very well. So until I get a bigger following, I'm going to keep these based off of my opinions and how I feel. And then in the future, we will expand into more community driven things. And I would definitely prefer it that way because I want to know what you guys think in a whole. But this top 10 is purely based off of my opinion and how I look at the game and how I look at these weapons. So like I said, top 10 most wanted weapon variants in Infinite Warfare. As you guys know, there are a lot of weapon variants within Infinite Warfare, and there was way too many for me to choose just 10. So I chose about 15, and I'm going to give you guys 5 honorable mentions to start this list off, just so you guys know that, like, maybe if there's one that you guys are looking into getting or whatever, and I don't personally have it in my top 10, you'll know that maybe it's not one that you want, or, you know, maybe you'll be shocked that it's not in my top 10, or, you know, maybe you don't even think it should be in my honorable mentions. But I'm just going to let you guys know that there are 5 honorable mentions before I get into the initial top 10. The first one in that list is the KVS Longbow Big Brother. So, as you guys know, I like to use a sniper rifle as my secondary when I use assault rifles, and I would like this one because I don't like it when my minimap goes away when I ADS. So this is kind of a really minor one, that's why it's not in my top 10, but basically what this does is it has awareness, which is minimap stays active while scoped, and stockpile, which is increased ammo and stacks with extended mags. That's the only real big difference, and that's why I want that, just so that way when I ADS, my minimap doesn't disappear, because that's really, really frustrating. The next one we have here is the DMR-1 Spectacle. So I watched a couple of videos on this epic weapon, and I ended up not wanting this as much as I did at one point in time. But if you don't know, I am really, really, really good with single shot weapons, like exceptionally good with single shot weapons, like the Shiva in Black Ops 3. I was really, really, really good with that gun. So I was really excited to see that a sniper rifle power like weapon that can be reloaded, because it is an M1 Grand, comes with a red dot sight. But then I watched some videos that said it wasn't all that good, so I still kind of want it because maybe I'll like it because I'm really, really good with single shot weapons. But it didn't fall into my actual top 10. So the DMR-1 Spectacle has the Reflex, which comes with a custom reflex sight instead of a scope, Focus, which reduces idle sway while aiming down sights, and as you guys know, you can reload this. It's an M1 Grand style weapon, and you can reload this without having to go through all of the bullets, which is a big deal with this gun. The next one we have here is the HVR Gemini, which is Twin Sanity, has hip spread, can no longer aim down sights. That's all you can do, is you can hip fire with it, which is really cool, and it's dual wield SMGs. So imagine like a dual wield pistol that's fully automatic with the power of an SMG. Kind of reminds me of the Modern Warfare 3 days, and so I really, really, really want to try this, but it didn't quite make my top 10 because I didn't think it was going to be all that practical. Like, I don't see myself running around wanting to use this gun exclusively while playing Infinite Warfare. I don't see this being a gun that I can throw on and be like, alright, I'm going to drop a 30 kill streak with this, no doubts about it. The other thing that it comes with is readiness, which is reload faster when mag is empty, stacks with dexterity, and that's pretty much why it is not in my top 10, because I don't see myself using it as I would a lot of other weapons in the game. The next one we have here is the Type 2 Butcher, which is a really, really, really hard one for me to decide to not put in as a in my top 10 because I like the idea of dual wield shotguns. Like, that takes me back to Modern Warfare 2, and I really like the idea of being able to have dual wield shotguns. But I just don't know exactly how good it is. I know there's probably a trillion videos out there on YouTube talking about this gun and giving it a really good rating or a bad rating, whatever it is. But I personally have not seen that yet. So I don't know if the gun is complete garbage. I don't know if the gun is amazing. So I couldn't put that in my top 10 because I didn't want to put something in there that was actually really, really bad. I didn't want to put something in there that I was going to hate when I actually got it. And so that's why it's where it's at. The Type 2 Butcher comes with alternate mode, now fires as akimbo shotguns, and reload faster when mag is empty, stacks with dexterity. The last weapon variant that we have for the honorable mentions is the Karma 45 Phobos. So the reason why this is in here is because it has Rushdown, which is greatly reduces spread while jumping and sliding, Sharpshooter, which is increased damage range, stacks with rifle barrel. I like the increased damage range, and I like the idea of Rushdown, but the problem is I have a really bad habit of always ADSing all the time. I don't hip fire all that often. So I don't see this being all that useful for me, but I feel like the increased firing range, the damage range is what I meant, the increased damage range, and on top of it having the decreased hip fire, I think it would be a good gun to use. I think I would do well with it, but once again, it's another one of those guns that I don't see myself putting on a class and being like, this is the gun that I use to drop crazy kill streaks and Infinite Warfare. Moving into the first weapon in my top 10, at number 10, I have the FHR-40 Windfall, which a lot of you guys have probably heard of, and probably a lot of you already have it, including myself. But this, killing an enemy refills a portion of your health, stockpile increased ammo, which is really crazy because this gun already has a lot of ammunition. The only thing I don't like about this weapon is, from the beta to now, they increase the recoil a lot, which I personally don't use a lot of SMGs, so for that to be a thing, it really turns me off to the gun a little bit. So that pretty much is what slows me or turns me away from wanting to use this gun as much as I did at one point in time. But I felt like it deserved to be in the top 10 list because it is a pretty crazy bonus to the weapon, with it regenerating some of your health every time you get a kill. Moving on to number 9, we have the KBS Longbow Harbinger is how you pronounce it, I'm pretty sure. And with this one, basically, it reduces your rechamber time and reduces movement speed, as well as it has a focus while aiming down sights, stacks with ballistic CPU. So I'm assuming that's just, less sway or whatever while aiming down sights, which is really useful. And as you guys know, on a lot of my classes, I like to use sniper rifles, as I said earlier, like this gameplay you're seeing right now. And because of that, it's very useful to be able to have a very mobile sniper rifle. It's the only real downfall to the class as it is the mobility of it kind of sucks a lot. So I would like to be able to have that mobile aspect added to the class itself on top of my assault rifle. Moving on to number 8, we have the K-Bar Invective, which was a really hard one for me to put at the spot it's at because I feel like this could be a really amazing gun. I don't personally have it, so I can't place it based off of the quality of the gun purely, but I can say that I feel like it would have a downfall with my playstyle, and that's why I have it at number 8. My playstyle, I tend to shoot more towards the lower stomach and groin area, which is going to hurt me a lot of times with this weapon because it has the Jawbreaker perk, which bonus headshot damage reduces damage towards legs. And I feel like I'm going to find myself drop shotting or jump shotting and my shot getting thrown off, and it's going to hurt me a lot in the long run. If you watch some of my gameplay, you'll see that I kind of sometimes aim at the legs, and that's going to get me killed more often than it's going to help me, and I really don't want to have to risk that. So that's pretty much why I have it at number 8, although I feel like if I was to adjust my playstyle and use this weapon a lot, I feel like it would be a really good gun. Alright, so I don't know how to pronounce this, but this is the RPR Evo Bozozuku? I don't know how to pronounce it, but it looks really cool, and it's kind of funny. And just like the last weapon, I feel like this would cater more so to my playstyle just because I tend to aim more towards the waist, and with this one you get below the belt. Bonus damage towards the groin instead of headshots, and it reduces recoil. So I'm not much of an SMG player, like I said before, and so for me to use this, the reduced recoil is a big deal, and I get bonus damage when I shoot them in the genital area, which is really funny, and it would make me want to use SMGs more often, but at the same time, it's still an SMG, so I'm not going to be as effective with it, which would kind of turn me away from wanting to use it all that often. So that is my RPR Evo Bozozuku at number 7. Moving on here, I have the Rack 9's Smoothbore, which reminds me a lot of the KSG, I believe is what it was called, in Black Ops 2, and that sounds like a really, really fun shotgun to be able to use in Infinite Warfare. So I'm not much of a shotgun person either. I pretty much stick to assault rifles, but this gun could make the exception. I feel like it could be a lot of fun to use in multiplayer, and this fires a single powerful slug, reduces idle sway while aiming down sights. So I think this would be a really, really fun gun to use. Also, not to mention, it looks absolutely sick. I can only imagine it with a camo on it. I can't wait to finally get this gun. With the rate at earning salvage, though, it's not going to happen anytime soon. At number 5, I have the RPR Evo Ripper from Call of Duty Ghosts. Everybody knows the Ripper from Call of Duty Ghosts, and I really want this variant because, one, I want to see if it's just as good as it was in Call of Duty Ghosts. I think I probably picked it up a couple times off of some bodies, but if it's as good as it was in Call of Duty Ghosts, that is absolutely insane. I know the accuracy is down a little bit, but I feel like if I was to put a suppressor on it and play really up close or something like that, or, you know, really flanky and stuff, I feel like it would be a really, really good gun. I don't think that people would be able to stop me very often, and that is why it's at my number 5 spot. I feel like it could be an absolute murder machine if it was used the right way. Moving on to number 4, we have the Volk Goliath. So the Volk has been kind of an up and down weapon in Infinite Warfare so far, but I think it's at a pretty good spot right now. I think it's a pretty good gun. So I really want the Volk Goliath because, as I said earlier, I'm really good with single shot weapons, or I was in Black Ops 3. So I want this gun because I want to be able to see if I can still do that in Infinite Warfare, and I want to be able to consistently do it. So I want the gun to be, you know, not like a sniper rifle. I don't want it to be kind of slow moving and stuff. So that would be my go-to single shot weapon if I could unlock it. Hopefully I will soon. Hopefully I'll get enough salvage. This is definitely going to be one of my first ones to unlock. If you guys didn't know, it has Spike, which deals increased damage but fires 1 bullet at a time, reduced idle sway while aiming down sights. Moving on to number 3, we have the NV4 Chaos, which has Celerity, which increases hip fire rate and reduces aim down sights fire rate and reduces hip spread. So, like I said before, I'm not that good with the whole hip firing thing. I tend to ADS all the time, but I feel like this gun would be really good if you had a class with maybe like a long barrel on it, with a laser sight and like a quick draw handle or something along those lines, so you can still use the long range damage. You can increase that damage range, and maybe it would be useful even though it has the slower rate of fire, and you could still kind of turn that to your benefit while having that increased hip fire rate, and, you know, reduce the hip spread with the laser sight on top of it, just reducing it in general. I feel like it could be a really, really good weapon. Moving on to number 2, we have the NV4 Flatline. Who doesn't want the Flatline? Infinite damage range with reduced fire rate, reduced idle sway while aiming down sights. So basically, I'm pretty sure it has an infinite 4-shot kill range, which is absolutely insane. I feel like if I unlock this gun 9 times out of 10, this is going to be my go-to weapon. I'm going to use this gun a ridiculous amount of times, especially when I reach max prestige. And that's, you know, based off if they don't change anything with the weapons right now. But that's pretty much how I feel about the NV4 Flatline. It's a really, really solid gun. It looks cool. It's on a pedestal. Everybody wants this weapon. At number 1, we have the Volk Corruption. So Volk Corruption has Mo Money, which every kill grants extra experience, Sharpshooter, which increases damage range, stacks with particle amp. I don't know how much XP extra it gives you, but that does not matter, because at the end of the day, Call of Duty to me is leveling up. Call of Duty is the grind. Call of Duty is reaching that maximum prestige, and with the Volk Corruption, I can do that. The one sad thing about this weapon is the only way I'm going to get this gun is through a supply drop. Hopefully they change that at some point, but I very, very, very much so doubt it. So hopefully in the future, I can unlock this Volk Corruption, and maybe, just maybe, I'll reach maximum prestige in Infinite Warfare. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, please remember to like and subscribe. Twitter and Facebook links will be down in the description as always. And deuces.